Have you ever wanted to dive even deeper into the key takeaways from our episodes? Well, I've got exciting news for you. I'm thrilled to introduce a new addition to our journey entitled The Recap Room. This special podcast segment will now be featured right here on the Becoming Fierce Female Entrepreneurs podcast and as a standalone series on my new Joy Norman YouTube podcast. And you can find it on YouTube by typing @Joy Norman Official, or just click the link in the show notes. In the recap room, I'll take you beyond the surface of our episodes, diving deep into key takeaways and sharing actionable strategies to help you embrace progress, overcome obstacles, and thrive unapologetically. Let's turn reflection into action together. I can't wait to connect with you in the recap room. Welcome to another empowering episode of Becoming Fierce Female Entrepreneurs. And today we're diving into a topic that can either push us to the brink of burnout or open the door to growth. Breaking free from perfection. I know this journey all too well, and I'm sure many of you do too. The need to get everything right, to have every detail perfectly in place to meet expectations, and sometimes unrealistic ones we place on ourselves. And it can be exhausting, right? Well, let's talk about it. Grab your journal or sheet of paper and your favorite beverage, and I'll be right back.
Thank you for tuning in today. Our mission is to equip and empower you to dig in and soar higher, doing the things that you love. This podcast is where you'll hear leading experts from around the globe figuring out what you could be doing to tackle your greatest business challenges. So get ready to hear from some of the brightest minds and boldest thinkers on how they're taking on these problems and how you could too. Now here's your host.
Welcome back. Thank you all for watching and subscribing to our podcast. And if you like today's episode, please leave us a review. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Joy Norman, and I'm your passionate empowerment and success mentor. And I am blessed to help success-driven women entrepreneurs get past fear and procrastination, move forward, take action, and build a profitable and sustainable business without wasting time on strategies that just don't work. Even if you've been struggling to grow your business for years and you haven't seen much fruit. Working your business can be tough and overwhelming, and it's easy to get lost in a busy life. So we just want to inspire you and support your growth. So let's get into this. As I mentioned in the intro, perfection. I know this topic all too well because most of you who watch this podcast have heard me say that I'm a recovering perfectionist. I suffer from the need to get everything right, to have every detail perfectly in place to meet expectations. And yes, sometimes unrealistic ones we place on ourselves. And it can be exhausting. And more importantly, it can hold us back from showing up as our most authentic and impactful selves. But here's the truth I learned along the way. Perfection is an illusion. And letting go of this illusion has been one of the most freeing steps in my personal and entrepreneurial growth. So let's talk about the perfect launch that wasn't. So let me start by sharing a story from a time when I was launching one of my first big programs. I had everything planned to a T, or so I thought. And I spent months obsessing over every single detail from the color of the logo to the fonts on the website to the exact wording of every single email. And I remember telling myself, if it's not perfect, it won't work. So the launch date came and went, and it didn't go exactly as I planned, despite all of my hours of preparation and perfectionism. The turnout wasn't what I hoped for. And it was a huge wake up call. And all that time I spent striving for perfection had led me to forget the bigger picture. And I was so focused on the tiny details that I lost sight of connecting with my audience and creating an experience that truly served them. And that launch didn't fail because of wrong font or slightly off color scheme. It was because I let perfection take over the energy and authenticity I could have brought into the process. So the lesson learned, done is better than perfect. And action beats inaction every time. So the trap of perfectionism in entrepreneurship. How often do we as women entrepreneurs fall into this trap? So we're wired to believe that our work must be flawless before we can present it to the world. And we want to do everything by the book, make no mistakes, and constantly be on top of it. But here's the truth. Perfection is the enemy of progress. There's always going to be something that we can tweak, improve, or refine. But sometimes striving for perfection is just a way of procrastinating because deep down we fear that our work, or worse, we aren't good enough. And that's a fear we have to overcome. And if we want to thrive as entrepreneurs, letting go in the messy middle. Another example from my journey was when I was working on a huge collaborative project. And there were so many moving pieces, and I'll admit, I became a bit of a control freak. I wanted everything to flow. Why not? I'm a professional project manager. So I micromanaged every detail, trying to make sure every aspect was perfect. But things didn't go as planned. Mm. Imagine that. There were unexpected tech glitches, delays in content, and disagreements among team members. And at one point, I had to face the reality that I couldn't control everything, and the pursuit of perfection was draining my energy. So I did something that felt incredibly uncomfortable. I let go. I accepted that things were going to be messy and that was okay. And you know what? The project turned out to be a success. And even with its imperfections, by allowing room for mistakes, I learned more, I grew faster, and more importantly, I enjoyed the progress. So, lesson learned. Sometimes embracing the messy middle is where the real magic happens. Yes. So, the impact of letting go of perfection. So, when we let go of the need to be perfect, we free ourselves to make bolder decisions, take bigger risks, and grow in ways we never imagined. Entrepreneurship is a journey of learning, adapting, and evolving. And if we wait until everything is perfect before we launch our next project, product, or service, we'll never get there. And I want to share a little secret with you. Are you ready? But first, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Okay, here's the secret. The people you're serving, they don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be authentic, present, and courageous. And they'll connect with your realness and not your flawlessness. I'm going to say that again. The people you're serving, they don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be authentic, present, and courageous. They need you to connect. They'll connect with your realness and your flawlessness. All right, moving on. Steps for overcoming perfectionism. Now that we've touched on how perfectionism can hold us back, here are a few strategies I've personally used to overcome it. Set a good enough benchmark. Decide in advance what good enough looks like for your project or task. And you can always improve over time, but waiting for perfection will keep you stuck. Next, embrace mistakes. Shift your mindset to view mistakes as part of the process. They are not setbacks, they're setups for your next success. And we have to get over that. So embrace mistakes. Next, get feedback early. Don't wait until something is perfect before seeking feedback, because sometimes your audience or your clients will show you where improvements are needed that you hadn't considered. This happens to me. And if you just listen, be authentic with your clients and your customers, hear what they're saying, and let them know, oh, okay, if this isn't working, let's try this. Listen, you'll get the solutions if you just listen to your audience. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. They know that you don't know everything. So tell them up front that we're going to try this together. We're going to learn together. I learned a lot from my clients, and we work together. I seek their feedback. I do my research. I talk to my coach, and I get results for my clients. I've moved on from perfection. Okay. I apologize. We keep moving. Okay, next, focus on progress, not perfection. Track the small wins. Celebrate each step forward, no matter how small. Progress is a victory in itself. Next, release control. Did you hear what I just said? Release control. I've talked about this before. Accept that you cannot control every outcome. And when you loose the reins, you allow more opportunities for creativity and growth to flow in. All right. So your fierce imperfection. To all my fierce female entrepreneurs out there, You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need flawless execution to make an impact. And you don't need to have it all together to take action. I've learned the hard way that success doesn't come from perfection, it comes from showing up, trying, failing, learning, and continuing to move forward. So let's make a pact to embrace imperfection, to celebrate our progress, and to keep moving forward fiercely. All right, I want you to say this with me. Let's make a pact to embrace imperfection, to celebrate our progress, and keep moving forward fiercely. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Becoming Fierce Female Entrepreneurs. And if you've ever felt like perfectionism has held you back, you're not alone. But let's remember it's not about getting it perfect, it's about getting it done. You got this. You are enough, you are called, and you are worthy. As always, I love to hear your stories and struggles with perfectionism and how you're working to overcome them. So let's keep the conversation going and remember progress over perfection. All right. So here are some questions for reflections. So grab your journal or a sheet of paper and write these down. How has perfectionism held you back in your business journey? Think about that. Also, what steps can you take today to release the need to be perfect and focus on progress instead? All right, I love to hear your responses to these reflection questions. So, if you're ready to take the next step in overcoming perfectionism and taking your business to the next level, let's connect. I offer personalized coaching, workshops, and resources designed to help you embrace your imperfections and grow with your business confidence. So, check the link in the show notes for more details. And don't forget to subscribe for more Fierce episodes every week. All right. Thank you so much. And please share this episode with the fierce women in your life. And if you like to be a guest on the podcast in the upcoming year, reach out. We love to hear your stories of resilience, courage, and growth. Do you want to be a guest on our YouTube podcast? Do you have an inspiring and informative story that you want to share with a worldwide audience? Do you have a business or service that you want to share with women entrepreneurs? Do you want to make strategic connections with our audience? Well, you are in the right place. We are looking for speakers who want to be featured on our YouTube podcast show. So tell us what you do. What are you passionate about? The Living Show is a YouTube show all about informing and inspiring women entrepreneurs to grow their business. Working on your business can be tough and overwhelming, and it's easy to get lost in a busy life. And we may be independent and strong, but we also need to take time out to support and learn from each other. So we just want to inspire you and support your growth. You can participate and connect in active forum discussions. You can be featured as a one-time guest on our recurring Sister Talks panel. Come and connect with other ambitious, inquisitive, successful expert speakers, each of whom have a network of similar connections to introduce you to. And if you are interested, go to our website at becomingfierceentrepreneurs.com and click on our services page to schedule a meet and greet. We can't wait to talk to you. All right, everyone, have a blessed day and have a blessed rest of the week. We'll see you back here on another Becoming Fierce episode. Bye bye.